Welcome to our outdoor patio. This is a place where we hang out with friends, we host people, and it's a great place to unwind, but it's missing one thing. We need some kind of table here. And not just any table, I've always wanted to create the biggest fire table I could ever make. And today, folks, we're gonna at least attempt to do that. Let's get started. I've kind of crunched down the numbers where an average burner is about 10 inches wide. I've been able to find one that is 38 inches long, and they have them even longer, I think 50 inches long, but that's gonna be way too big. So we're gonna meet right second to last in terms of size. I want overhang on each side to have about 10 inches. Total width, we're looking at 30 inches wide. This is not a big back patio, so it'll be just right. And then lengthwise, the burner is gonna be 38 inches. By the time we add 10 inches on each side, we're looking at 58 inches, which is almost the length of this sofa. Let's get our supplies. Full disclosure, I've never worked with metal studs before. With this stuff, there's typically a two system that you need to be aware of. There's the C-channel, which is your, let's say you're framing a house, will be your top, your bottom, your sides. And then you have your metal studs themselves that have a little bit more beveled edges and rigidity, and they kind of step inside there. So the idea is we're gonna cut our pieces with an angle iron and then screw them with self-tapping sheet screws and build this dang thing. All right, it's all square. It's a really fun process. I'll be completely honest with you. Highly recommend it. I've never done this before. Really enjoying it, especially for outdoor projects. That's what I would definitely consider using again. Let's see how strong this thing is. Listen, I'm like 205 pounds and this thing is not bunching anywhere. Even though it looks flimsy, you know how all these sides go in, but structurally, I mean, as long as your studs are spaced 16 apart and all the screws are secured, this thing's a banger. Up next, we need to start working on our second tier. So this is the bottom tier. The second tier is gonna come out 5 inches on every side and then build up. Total height is gonna be 24 inches. So it's 12 inches and another 12 inches. And then that part will have braces for it to sit on. Hopefully kind of squish the whole thing together. Oh, this one's not self-casting. Oh, these are two different types of screws. All right, so here's the idea. It's gonna sit like that, which is an awesome design. Only problem is I need to figure out bracing for it to sit on. So I think I'm gonna run some C-channels down below. I don't know if that's gonna be enough, but there's only one way to find out. Guys, I'm exhausted. Building while also running a YouTube channel, while also taking care of family, it's tough. And it can take a toll on you. You have good days and you have bad days, and that's why I'm excited to announce the sponsor of today's video, BetterHelp. Therapy used to be a difficult thing to do. You have to go find somebody who has good intentions, good experience, working as a therapist, take time off from work, drive to the appointment, and only hope that you found somebody that understands what you're going through. That's tough. That's hard. Look, we all have good days and we have bad days. Sometimes for me, it's all sunny days, and other times it's a dark cloud, and I know how to talk to myself, but I don't know how to get out of it. That's why talking to somebody helps you navigate and process your thoughts and emotions. Well, that's where BetterHelp comes in. They make it convenient for you to get the help that you need. BetterHelp connects you with licensed therapists who's trained to listen and give you helpful, unbiased advice. You can do it all from the comforts of your phone or computer via phone call, video chat, or message. However you feel most comfortable, it's the easiest possible way to start talking to a therapist. You'll be matched with a licensed therapist in as little as 48 hours, so you can get started fast. Getting started couldn't be any easier. First, you go to their website. Use my link in the description below. It's betterhelp.com/Mr. Build It. You answer a few simple questions, and BetterHelp will match you with a professional who has years of experience with helping people with struggles like yours. Thank you, BetterHelp, for taking care of us and our mental health. Now, let's get back to this video. This is a trick I learned from one of the metal roofing guys. Let's say we need to create a bend here. This applies to drips on your gutters, not your gutters, but your roofing shingles. The drip edge that works on this galvanized steel. Cut the second one. The next cut is a 45-degree cut. Both sides. Now all you do, tuck it in, and you got a 45 bracket with a nice, decently clean corner bend. Not bad at all. I'm really happy with it, but I don't want to just trust that these two brackets. I think I'm going to create two more, run that bridge across, and I'm pretty confident that's going to do a good job, especially if I get it right between these studs. That's going to keep that flex from happening. It's coming together. I never put this on paper how it's going to look actually stacked together, but we're figuring out. This looks freaking ginormous. This looks like something you'd go to, like, I don't know, the mall and see. I'm really happy with how it looks. I love how it's recessed as well. I'm planning ahead a little bit right now because whatever countertop we put on here, it's gonna be very thin. So I don't want it to sag, so I wanna give it the most amount of opportunities to reinforce. So I marked out, this is how wide my burner is going to be, and this is how narrow it's going to be. And then keep in mind there's glass around it, which actually I never told you that. Surprise, we're going to have glass. But I want to be able to have reinforcements. So exactly what we did here, I'm going to do over here. I'm going to drop one here, here, and then a narrow one connecting it. Therefore, there's not going to be any flimsy parts of this table. I wish I could tell you right now exactly how we're going to do it, but trust me, it's going to look freaking awesome. Hey, most amount of metal work I've ever done. Looks great, looks sturdy. Looks is the key word here. We'll find out as years come on. Next up, we're gonna start wrapping this thing with cement board. I went with the thicker stuff, not the thin stuff, to give it as much strength as we possibly can. And because we did the reinforcements, I have a good feeling this thing's gonna be solid. Let's start wrapping. Oh, that's not good. That was a good cut too. I wonder if I might need to pre-drill because I don't think these screws are gonna go through. This thing is solid. It is not wobbly whatsoever. Everything gets brought together. Here's the crazy fun part and nerve-wracking part. I have to cut out the pan in here. Now, it is 10 by 38, the inside, plus I'll have a 1-inch lip to conceal everything. My only fear is where I have this positioned. Hopefully I don't hit one of these reinforcing braces that I have. So I'll probably kind of do it in small sections just to kind of play it safe. Perfect cut. Look at all that dust and debris from the cement board coming up. It looks like there's a fire inside of it. I'm not gonna be breathing this stuff. I'm gonna let it cool off or evacuate, whatever you wanna call it. And then next thing we need to do is start working on these corners. I wanna make sure this thing looks like a piece of concrete as it is, one solid piece. So we're gonna start working on these corners. I need to pick up, I'm gonna try experimenting with the black corners that they have for drywall, not the mesh. And hopefully we get nice crisp edges to just look like one solid brick. This thing's gonna look so sick. Not gonna lie, I feel really cool bending all these corners like this, because the old me used to just butt up these joints and have a messy drywall job, but over time you pick up a few skills and put them in your pocket. So we're gonna use this 3M high strength 90 contact adhesive. It says you could use it on plastics, laminate, concrete, which this is concrete-ish, adjacent, metal, wood, laminate. It's industrial strength, moisture, and heat resistant. So sounds like the stuff I need. Never tried it, especially for an outdoor thing, but we'll find out. I might throw in a few nails just to be safe too. It's working. Oh, I love when things are working. Okay, in the efforts of full transparency, I didn't anticipate doing the step that I'm about to do right now, and it finally dawned on me. In fact, there's two steps. Number one is these parts, even though they're glued on and nailed on, they're still gonna move, meaning eventually they're gonna pop the plaster that we're gonna put on here. That's no good. So what we're gonna do is, where's my tape? We're gonna use fiber cement tape, stick it on to transition the cement board to the edging, and then we're gonna use our mortar, really thick, strong mortar, to cover the tape on to make a flush transition. That'll keep from the edges ever coming off, and it'll create a nice smooth transition for the plaster to come on. I don't want this thing to break. I'm too excited for this thing to crack on me eventually. So taking all the final steps we can, catching ourselves in the moment as we can. And when we do, we feel happy about it because it's a little safety net. Okay, now did I ever mention that this is a complete and totally new experiment. Never done this before, never seen it being done before. I've seen people put cement board, then put stone like this on it, but I've never done it before. So this is just a theory. Once it dries, and I'm kind of treating it like waterproofing a shower, right? You put cement board on the wall, you would waterproof it, then you put your tile on. We're not working with any kind of tile, so plaster is going to be the game of choice here. So I'm going to let this dry, give it a light sand, make sure there's no crazy imperfections, maybe float it somehow, and then we're going to go pick up some waterproofing, roll that sucker on, and we'll be ready to start plastering it to actually make it look like a real concrete thing. Faux-crete. That's what we'll call it, faux-crete. So it's not a good look for me today. This morning I got stung by some kind of bug. I was assuming it's like a yellow jacket or something, but it was black and it was flying really aggressive. I got stung right there by this bug, and look how much it swelled this up. This is for comparison. We got stung hand, non-stung. Look at that. I mean, you can't see the veins. You could barely see the knuckles. I'm not gonna lie, it hurts. It does hurt, but it's not gonna stop us today. We gotta waterproof this sucker. I'm using the same stuff they use for showers. You gotta basically brush it on, roll it on. The reason I'm doing that is because, well, cement board, it's not the strongest stuff when the weathers kick in. So we're gonna start rolling it on, get it nice and watertight, and then after that, we'll be able to start putting our primer for our plaster. Lucky for me, this is my rolling hand. Waterproofed, primed. So the products that I'm using, and I'm not claiming to be an expert because this is probably the second time I'm using it. The previous time was the faux plaster wall that I did on the fireplace. I'll link the video right here. But this is from the company Firmalox. That's where we got the last stuff. One thing I goofed on last time is I didn't get the two different colors to create that concrete textured kind of distressed color scheme look. So this time I thought ahead of time, so I bought this is their Piatto color. It's supposed to be like a grayish, and then to create those whitewash kind of look, they have the same Piatto, but it's the white color. In fact, it's called splat white. So the idea here is going to take our trowel and start applying it. Well, it's not a trowel, it's our drywall knife. We're going to start applying a coat of it. They want to do about 2 coats minimum. So I got a couple more buckets coming in the way here. Not gonna lie, kind of spendy stuff. $200 is what you're looking at right here alone. So, you know, do with it what you will. And we need about 3 more buckets of this. So kind of spendy, but we're just gonna applying it. And then after that, there's a little bit of artistic finesse that we need to do in order to make sure it looks appropriate. Let's start screwing things up. I just realized I never explained what this stuff is. This is a plaster. So a lot of European countries, that's kind of their drywall, essentially. They'll plaster a wall and it creates almost like the sandy kind of look, concrete look, a little texture to it, maybe like a finer grade than stucco. That's my interpretation. Don't kill me for it. But, and Firmalox is the brand. So they kind of are the most popular one that I've seen so far that kind of supply this kind of product. But that's my history tip for you. So this is something that's really cool about this product is, because I bought all my stuff through them, like even the primer. And the primer, they're calling it an anchoring primer. And it's not a regular primer. When it dries, it creates these textures on top of it. It's kind of like a scorch coat for, or a scratch coat for when you're doing like, you know, stonework, hanging it outside. This kind of creates that texture for the plaster to stick onto really, really well. And then once you're done putting it on, it creates a nice smooth finish. So great product, not gonna lie. They really figured this stuff out. Not sponsored, just a really good product. It's looking good. There's a lot of sections that I'm proud of, and there's a few sections that I'm not so proud of, but that's okay. This is my second time only doing this. It's gonna dry, it's already drying pretty fast. Hit it with a second coat. I'm gonna switch to a hand trowel because you'll be able to have more control that, you know, you won't have these lines that are coming in the way. So this can be like more of a smooth, even finish. And then once that's dry, we're gonna hit it with the white to give it more of that blotchy, contrasted gray and white look that concrete kind of has. I'm excited about this. Got 2 solid coats of this Venetian plaster on. Very happy how it turned out. I couldn't get it as smooth as possible. There was a few little high spots. So I did, I don't want to say it's a taboo thing, but it's just, they never really show you that you could do this. I used a sander and lightly try to buff them out. And it kind of created a smoother surface. So it's not as super textury, which I like. Kind of gives them a little bit more grain and a little bit less grain on certain sections. The next step is, so because this is one color and I want to make it kind of a little bit whitewashed or a little bit of that patina that concrete look would have, we're going to use splat white. It's supposed to be just a plain white. We're going to try to smudge it and patch it. So we're going to try to make it intentionally blotchy with the hopes that it will look something with a little more character as opposed to something more bland like this. Saw on the little video tutorial on their website is doing a burnish coat. And what that is while the plaster is still wet, you not only apply it at 45, but you kind of aggressively scrape it so it kind of creates this glossy kind of finish. And that gives you just another layer of not only texture, but contrast. This is as artsy fartsy as I've ever gotten. All right, here's the fun part, the actual grill part. So we partnered with Easy Fire Pits. They are awesome because they create kits that are custom to whatever creation you come up for these like fire pits. It could be round, it could be rectangular, it could be big like this or even bigger. This is, for example, a 10-inch by 38 inches. And I think their longest one goes to like 50-something inches. So they got you covered from the burner that you'll need, the type of gases you need, all the fittings to just plug, connect, and just get this thing roaring. So I'll need to cut 2 holes on the side, one for my gas line that's gonna be coming from that wall. Second one's for my on-off switch, and then everything just plugs and plays. I'll make sure to link them in the description below for you guys to go check out any kind of kit if you decide to build something like this. Well, I couldn't have picked a worse location to put this valve shut off. Reason why is because the module, the size of it, I put it right in the corner of where all my aluminum or steel studs are, kind of like right there. There's no room for it to move. So now I got to put a different hole and I got to figure out how to patch that stupid thing. I should have just thought about it. I was like, no, let's get it into a small little space, but didn't plan about what's around that freaking space. Take 5 steps forward and 20 steps back. It's all right. I could figure out how to patch it. I'll stick something in there. I got plenty of plaster left over. We should be okay. But I'm just, this could have been totally prevented if I just stopped and used my noggin for a second. That's sick. That's a clean fit. Love a clean fit. Next up, we're gonna apply our fire rock Bought all this stuff on Amazon. It's not too expensive. I think it's like 25, 29 bucks a bag. And I bought four of them. Because I don't want a little bit, I want a lot. Beautiful turquoise rock. Oh, this is gonna be a great color combo. I should have gone with actually blue, just so it looked like crystal meth from the movie Breaking Bad, or the show Breaking Bad. That'd be actually funnier than this, but this is a pretty color though. I guess it'll do. I'll keep it more family friendly. This is why Easy Fire Pits kits are so cool. They think of everything, including this little border frame around it. That's tempered glass. Sits on these little rubberized pieces. Gives a nice clean look. And mostly I like it because the kids are not gonna try to get into it. I mean, they still will try to get into it. That's inevitable, but at least it's a little bit of border patrol. Gas on. I hear something. We got fire, baby. Oh, this is incredible. It all came together. Now, I really want to do this thing justice and show it to you when the sun goes down. So I'm going to show you this big reveal. And in the meantime, I'm going to add a coat of beeswax. Again, that's from the same company, Firmalox. They said it's going to change the color a little bit, make it more contrasted, which I'm kind of excited about. But the big idea here, it's more of a weather protection for this stuff, even though it's moldy resistant and moisture resistant. But I think it's moisture, but mold for sure, because they put it in bathrooms. But definitely a coat of beeswax is going to be right up our alley. So check this reveal out. Hey, thanks so much for watching this video. If you like more videos like this, I think here's a video that you might enjoy.